What if I told you that your brain is basically running on buggy software from 10,000 years ago, and these glitches are making every decision for you? From why you can't stop scrolling to why you're terrible at being happy, we're about to expose 30 psychological tricks, cognitive biases, and mental shortcuts that are puppeteering your entire existence without you realizing it. This is going to make you question every choice you've ever made.
Glitch number 1, the spotlight effect. Nobody's watching you. You spill coffee on your shirt and spend the entire day convinced everyone is staring at you, judging you, remembering this moment forever. Here's the brutal truth. Nobody cares. They didn't even notice. The spotlight effect makes you believe you're the center of attention far more than you actually are. Studies show people overestimate how much others notice their appearance and behavior by up to 200%. That embarrassing thing you did last week that's keeping you up at night, the people who witnessed it forgot about it 3 seconds later because they're too busy worrying about their own imaginary spotlight. You're not the main character. You're barely a background extra in everyone else's life. This is simultaneously devastating and incredibly liberating. Glitch number 2, the IKEA effect. You love trash you built. That wobbly bookshelf you assembled at 2 a.m. while crying and losing screws, you think it's beautiful. You defend it with your life. You literally think it's better than professionally made furniture. This is the IKEA effect, and it's making you delusional. Research shows people value things they partially created up to 63% higher than identical items they didn't make. You could literally build a garbage sculpture and your brain would convince you it's art because you invested effort. Companies exploit this ruthlessly. Why do you think cake mixes still require you to add eggs when they don't need to? Because if you do nothing, you won't value it. Your brain is a sucker for its own labor, no matter how terrible the results. Glitch number 3, phantom vibration syndrome. Your phone isn't buzzing. You feel your phone vibrate in your pocket. You check it, nothing. This happens multiple times per day, and you're not imagining it. Your brain is actually creating false sensations. Welcome to phantom vibration syndrome, affecting over 80% of smartphone users. Your brain has been so conditioned to expect notifications that it starts generating them preemptively. Random nerve firings, muscle twitches, or fabric movement get misinterpreted as vibrations. Your nervous system has literally rewired itself around your phone to the point where it's manufacturing fake alerts. You've trained your body to hallucinate technology. This is what digital addiction looks like at the neurological level. Glitch number 4, choice paralysis. More options make you miserable. You walk into a store with 50 types of jam. You walk out with nothing. You go to a restaurant with a 10-page menu. You can't decide and regret whatever you pick. This isn't indecisiveness. It's your brain short-circuiting from option overload. The famous jam study showed that when stores offered 24 flavors, only 3% of people bought anything. When they offered 6 flavors, 30% bought something, a 10x increase. More choice feels better, but actually makes you less happy and less likely to commit. Every streaming service is a paradox. 10,000 options make you watch nothing. Your brain evolved to handle maybe 5 to 7 options max. Modern life is drowning you in choices, and the result is paralysis, regret, and dissatisfaction no matter what you pick. Glitch number 5, the Google effect. Your memory is outsourced. Quick, what's your best friend's phone number? Your parents' address? The capital of any country? You don't know because you don't need to. Google knows. Your brain has completely outsourced memory storage to the internet. Studies show that when people know information is available online, they don't bother remembering it. They remember where to find it instead. This is called the Google effect, or digital amnesia. Your ancestors could memorize epic poems, navigate by stars, and remember hundreds of faces and names. You can't remember your password from last week. We've traded memory capacity for search capacity, and there's no going back. Your brain is now just a search engine operator. Glitch number 6, the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. Suddenly, it's everywhere. You learn a new word, hear about a car model, or discover a band. Suddenly, you see it everywhere. In conversations, on the street, in random articles. It feels like the universe is sending you signs. It's not. Your brain is just broken. This is the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, or frequency illusion. Once something enters your awareness, your brain's pattern recognition system goes haywire and starts noticing it constantly. It was always there, you just filtered it out before. Now it's flagged as relevant, so your attention keeps snagging onto it. You're not experiencing cosmic synchronicity. You're experiencing confirmation bias on steroids. The universe isn't talking to you. Your reticular activating system is just doing its job badly. Glitch number 7, hedonic adaptation. You'll never stay happy. You get the promotion, the car, the relationship you wanted. You're ecstatic for exactly 3 months. Then you're back to baseline happiness. This is hedonic adaptation, and it's why lottery winners return to their pre-winning happiness levels within a year. Your brain adapts to positive changes incredibly quickly. What was exciting becomes normal. What was a luxury becomes expected. This was useful when we needed to stay alert to threats rather than celebrating past successes. But now you're on a permanent treadmill of wanting more. You finally get what you want, enjoy it briefly, then immediately want the next thing. You're biochemically designed to never be satisfied. The American dream is basically fighting your own neurology. Glitch number 8, the mere exposure effect. Repetition becomes love. That song you hated the first time you heard it? After the 10th time, it's okay. By the 30th time, you're singing along. You haven't changed your taste. Your brain just got tricked by repetition. The mere exposure effect means you develop preference for things simply because you're familiar with them. This is why advertisements work through pure repetition even when they're annoying. It's why radio plays the same songs until you like them. It's why that coworker you couldn't stand becomes tolerable after months of proximity. Your brain mistakes familiarity for quality. Marketers, propagandists, and pop music producers have been exploiting this. You don't actually like it, you're just used to it. Glitch number 9, the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished tasks haunt you. That email you need to send, the project you haven't finished, the show you stopped mid-season. They're taking up mental real estate 24/7. Completed tasks disappear from your mind immediately, but uncompleted ones loop endlessly. The Zeigarnik effect explains why cliffhangers work, why you can't stop thinking about unfinished business, and why your to-do list gives you anxiety even when you're trying to relax. Your brain treats open loops as active problems demanding attention. This is why streaming services end episodes on cliffhangers and mobile games have daily quests. They're weaponizing your brain's inability to let things go. Every unfinished task is a background process draining your mental battery. Glitch number 10, anchoring bias. The first number wins. A shirt is on sale from $200 down to $80. You think you got a deal. The shirt was never worth $200. That's just anchoring. The first number you see becomes your reference point for everything after. Studies show that if you're asked, is the population of Turkey more or less than 5 million, you'll guess much lower than if asked, is it more or less than 500 million? The arbitrary number completely changes your answer. Retailers exploit this constantly. Wine tastes better if you're told it costs $50 versus $10, even if it's the same wine. Your first impression sets the anchor, and everything else is relative to it. Negotiations, pricing, and persuasion all use this. The first number isn't information, it's manipulation. Glitch number 11, the Dunning-Kruger Effect. Idiots think they're geniuses. The less someone knows about a topic, the more confident they are in their opinion. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it explains approximately 90% of internet comments. Studies show people with minimal knowledge experience peak confidence because they don't know enough to recognize what they don't know. Experts, meanwhile, underestimate their knowledge because they're aware of how complex the topic is. This is why your uncle who read one Facebook article feels confident debating climate scientists. Incompetence prevents people from recognizing their own incompetence. It's a brutal paradox. The people who most need to doubt themselves never will. Glitch number 12, the sunk cost fallacy. You can't quit because you invested. You've been in a relationship for 5 years. It's clearly not working, but you think, I've invested so much time, I can't quit now. You've spent $60 on a terrible video game, but force yourself to finish it. This is the sunk cost fallacy destroying your decision-making. Rational thinking says past investments shouldn't affect future decisions. Only future costs and benefits matter. But your brain can't let go of what's already spent. You throw good money after bad, stay in dead-end situations, and finish terrible books because you're already halfway through. Casinos, subscription services, and toxic relationships all thrive on this glitch. Your past self made a mistake, but your present self keeps paying for it because admitting the loss feels worse than continuing to lose.
Glitch number 13. Negativity bias. Bad is stronger than good. One criticism will ruin your day despite receiving 10 compliments. One bad review matters more than 50 good ones. Your brain is wired to focus on negative information 3 to 5 times more than positive. This was useful when remembering which berries were poisonous was more important than which ones tasted best. But now it means you dwell on every embarrassing moment, ignore your successes, and can't enjoy the present because you're ruminating on past failures or future threats. The news exploits this. Negative headlines get more clicks because your brain treats them as survival information. You're not pessimistic, you're just running ancient threat detection software in a modern world where most threats aren't life or death. Glitch number 14. The halo effect. Attractive people win at everything. Attractive people are perceived as smarter, funnier, more trustworthy, and more competent, even when they're objectively not. One positive trait, physical attractiveness, creates a halo that makes you assume other positive traits. Studies show attractive defendants get lighter sentences, attractive job candidates get hired more often, and attractive students get better grades for the same work. Your brain takes a shortcut, attractive equals good, and applies it universally. This also works in reverse, the horn effect. One negative trait makes you assume everything about them is negative. You think you judge people on merit, you actually judge them on appearance and then rationalize it afterward. Evolution made you superficial, and culture just pretends it didn't. Glitch number 15. Present bias. Future you is a stranger. You know you should save money, exercise, eat healthy, and study, but future you can deal with it. Present you wants pizza and Netflix. This is present bias, and it's why you have no retirement savings. Brain scans show that when people think about their future selves, the regions that light up are the same ones that activate when thinking about strangers. Your brain literally perceives future you as a different person. So you make terrible trade-offs, giving your future stranger problems while your present self gets immediate pleasure. Every time you say, "I'll start Monday," you're experiencing this glitch. Diet industries, credit cards, and procrastination all exploit your brain's inability to care about tomorrow you. Glitch number 16. The doorway effect. Rooms erase your memory. You walk into a room and instantly forget why you're there. You return to the previous room and suddenly remember. This isn't early dementia, it's the doorway effect, and it happens to everyone. Your brain uses locations as memory markers. When you move through a doorway, your brain files away the previous context and loads a new one, often dumping whatever you were actively thinking about. It's like your brain treats doorways as save points in a video game, and sometimes the autosave overwrites what you needed. Open-plan offices supposedly reduce this effect, but that just trades memory problems for distraction problems. Your brain is geography dependent, and doorways are basically mini memory wipes. Glitch number 17. The curse of knowledge. You can't remember being stupid. Once you know something, you can't imagine not knowing it. This makes experts terrible teachers, and you terrible at helping beginners. You've forgotten what it's like to not understand. This is why instruction manuals are useless. They're written by people who already know how things work. It's why smart people can't explain simple concepts. They've lost access to the mental state of ignorance. Parents can't understand why kids don't just get it. Experts can't understand why clients don't follow obvious advice. Your knowledge has literally made you unable to empathize with your past self. Every time you say, "It's so simple," or "just do this," you're experiencing the curse. Glitch number 18. The focusing illusion. Whatever you focus on becomes everything. Nothing in life is as important as you think it is while you are thinking about it. This is the focusing illusion. Whatever captures your attention temporarily becomes your entire reality. Ask people how happy they'd be with more money, and they vastly overestimate its impact because money is all they're thinking about in that moment. Focus on a problem, and it becomes catastrophic. Focus on a goal, and it seems impossibly important. Your attention literally creates your perceived reality. Social media exploits this constantly.
keeping you focused on curated highlights or manufactured outrage, making you believe that's what life is. You're not seeing reality. You're seeing whatever is currently in your spotlight of attention. Glitch number 19. Hyperbolic discounting. Small now beats big later. Would you rather have $50 today or $100 in a year? Most people take $50 today, even though that's terrible math. This is hyperbolic discounting. Immediate rewards are weighted absurdly higher than delayed rewards. The further away a reward is, the less your brain values it, but not in a logical way. It drops off sharply at first, then levels out. This is why you eat dessert instead of losing weight, buy things instead of saving, and watch TV instead of studying. Your brain would rather have a small pleasure now than a larger benefit later. Every "I'll start tomorrow" is this glitch. Every diet failure, every credit card debt, every missed opportunity, hyperbolic discounting is destroying your long-term life for short-term dopamine hits. Glitch number 20, the availability heuristic. Memorable equals likely. You think plane crashes are common because you remember news coverage. You think shark attacks are a major threat because of movies. You overestimate crime rates because local news is all murders. This is the availability heuristic. You judge probability by how easily examples come to mind. Things that are dramatic, recent, or emotional are more available in memory, so your brain thinks they're more common than they actually are. You're more likely to die from a vending machine than a shark, but nobody's making Vending Machine Week on Discovery Channel. Your risk assessment is completely backwards because your brain uses memorability as a proxy for frequency. News media, advertising, and fear-mongering all exploit this ruthlessly. Glitch number 21. The IKEA effect's evil twin, the not invented here syndrome. If you didn't come up with an idea, it must be worse than your idea. This is why companies reject good solutions from outside, why you resist other people's suggestions, and why group projects fail. Not invented here syndrome makes you devalue anything you didn't create or think of first. It's the IKEA effect in reverse. Instead of overvaluing your own work, you undervalue others' work. This is why managers ignore employee suggestions, why experts dismiss new research, and why you argue against good advice. Your ego is so fragile that accepting someone else's solution feels like admitting defeat. Innovation dies here. Glitch number 22. The recency effect. The last thing matters most. In a list of items, you'll remember the first few, primacy effect, and especially the last few, recency effect, but the middle disappears. This is why job interviewees who go last get hired more often, and why closing arguments matter more than evidence. Your brain has limited working memory, so whatever came in most recently is still active, while everything else has been pushed out. Lawyers know this. Salespeople know this. Manipulators know this. They save their best points for last because that's what'll stick. You think you're evaluating everything fairly, but really you're just remembering the ending. Every "what have you done for me lately" is the recency effect in action. Glitch number 23, the planning fallacy. You're always wrong about time. You think the project will take 3 hours. It takes 8. You think the drive is 30 minutes. It's an hour. You believe you'll finish by Friday. It's actually next Wednesday. You're not bad at planning. Your brain is hardwired to be optimistic about timelines. Students think they'll finish assignments the night before. Companies blow through deadlines and budgets. You promise things you can't deliver. Even when you know about this bias, you'll still do it. Your brain ignores past failures and focuses on an idealized scenario where nothing goes wrong. Spoiler, something always goes wrong. Glitch number 24, the contrast effect. Context destroys objectivity. A 6 out of 10 looks like a 9 out of 10 if you show them after a 3 out of 10. The same temperature feels hot after cold or cold after hot. Your judgments aren't absolute. They're completely dependent on what came immediately before. This is why mediocre products seem amazing after terrible ones, why salary negotiations start with anchors, and why real estate agents show you the worst house first. You think you're evaluating things independently. You're actually just comparing to whatever's fresh in memory. Dating apps exploit this with strategic photo ordering. Restaurants put expensive items on menus to make moderate prices seem reasonable. Your opinion isn't yours. It's whatever the context manufactured. Glitch number 25. The ostrich effect. If you don't look, it's not real. Your bank account is low. Do you check it? No. Your health symptoms are concerning. Do you see a doctor? No. Bad news exists. Do you look? No. This is the ostrich effect, avoiding information that might be psychologically uncomfortable. People delay opening bills, skip medical checkups, and refuse to check investment losses. Your brain reasons that if you don't confirm the bad news, it's not quite real yet. This is catastrophically stupid, but incredibly common. Studies show people check their portfolios 50% more often during market gains than losses. Ignorance feels like protection, but is actually amplifying the problem. You can't solve what you won't acknowledge, but acknowledgement hurts, so you stick your head in the sand. Glitch number 26. The rhyme as reason effect. If it rhymes, it's true. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. Convinced a jury. An apple a day keeps the doctor away sounds true. Rhyming statements are perceived as more truthful than identical non-rhyming statements. This is the rhyme as reason effect, and it's embarrassingly effective. Your brain mistakes processing fluency, rhymes are easier to remember and say, for truth. Advertisers use this constantly. A Mars a day helps you work, rest, and play. Poetry, proverbs, and propaganda all exploit this. You believe things because they sound good, not because they are good. Your brain is so lazy that phonetic patterns can override logic. If this seems dumb, that's because it is. Glitch number 27. The identifiable victim effect. One person matters. Statistics don't. A story about one sick child raises millions. Statistics about millions of sick children raise nothing. Your brain can't process large-scale suffering, but will empty its wallet for one identifiable victim. This is why charity ads show individual children with names and faces, not population statistics. 1 million affected is abstract and meaningless. This is Sarah. She's 6. Triggers empathy and donations. Your emotional circuitry evolved for small tribes where you knew everyone personally. It never scaled up to modern problems. This is why genocides happen while the world watches. Your brain cannot feel the weight of mass suffering. One death is a tragedy. 1 million is a statistic, and your emotional response reflects that broken equation. Glitch number 28, the IKEA effect. Part 2. Effort equals value. You value your time at $20 an hour at work, but will spend 2 hours driving across town to save $15 on a purchase. The effort you invest makes the savings feel more valuable than they are. This is another flavor of the IKEA effect. Effort creates perceived value even when the effort costs more than the value gained. You'll DIY something that would be cheaper to buy because the effort makes you feel accomplished. You'll coupon hunt for hours to save $30. The time and energy spent makes the outcome feel more valuable than it objectively is. Rational economics says your time has value. Your brain ignores this completely if there's effort to show off. Glitch number 30, the peak end rule. You only remember 2 moments. Your brain doesn't remember experiences accurately. It remembers the most intense moment, the peak, and the final moment, the end. Everything else is basically discarded. This is why a painful medical procedure feels worse if it ends on the worst moment versus gradually tapering off, even if the total pain is identical. It's why a good ending can redeem a mediocre movie. Your memory is not a recording. It's a highlight reel of peaks and endings. Disney knows this. That's why rides end on a high note. Breakups are devastating, partly because the end becomes your memory of the entire relationship. You're not remembering what happened, you're remembering a compressed greatest hits album your brain edited. Glitch number 30, The illusion of control. You control nothing. You wear lucky socks to the game. You have a process for scratching lottery tickets. You believe your behavior influences random outcomes. The illusion of control makes you believe you have influence over things that are completely random. Studies show people bet more money on dice they roll themselves versus dice rolled by others, despite identical odds. You think you're good at slot machines. You have rituals for things governed by chance. This illusion reduces anxiety about an unpredictable world, but it also makes you vulnerable to gambling, superstition, and false confidence. You control far less than you think, but admitting that creates existential terror, so your brain invents control where none exists. Free will might be the ultimate version of this glitch, but we'll save that crisis for another video. So there it is, 30 ways your brain is actively sabotaging you every single day. You're not in control. You're not rational. You're a barely functional meat computer running on 10,000-year-old software, desperately trying to handle modern life. Every decision you think you're making freely is actually being filtered through dozens of these glitches. Which of these glitches controls your life the most? Which one made you realize you're not actually in charge? Drop your existential crisis in the comments. And if your sense of free will just shattered into a million pieces, hit that like button and subscribe, because if you're going to be a puppet of your own psychology, you might as well understand the strings. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go check my phone that definitely just vibrated.